Testing. Hopefully this is live. I don't have any confirmation this time, but cool. So I don't know if anyone saw this post, but I had a fun time doing live streams yesterday with my colleague Beju. So I figured I'd do a live stream today, and probably gonna end up doing a weekly live stream to just get through some of the questions that you all send me. I just get a little too much, and I think it gets hard to go through all the questions because they're quite long. Let's see. So I am going to share my comments. Let me see if I can do it on the side. That's definitely the wrong screen. There you go. Bring OBX to this side. All right. So I'm going to go through some of these comments, starting from the top down. And unfortunately, this is the most recent ones. So I know there's a lot of comments that I've gotten, I think some dating back to over a year ago, that I have not gotten to. But yeah, one day we'll get to them. All right. So I'm probably not going to provide super thorough commentary on some of the questions, but I'll try to at least respond to them. Let's see. So we have a comment from an hour ago from Preeti on my nursing informatics video. It says, hey, can you please make a video on what master's courses a nurse can do with a graduate BSc nursing degree? It's probably not my area of expertise, but I do plan on, in the future, collaborating with more nurses and other healthcare professionals on creating videos about healthcare in general. My audience is primarily, or probably pretty much, pharmacists, but I do hope to expand this to be more of a overall healthcare channel. So yes, in the future, probably going to be quite some time in the future. But yes, eventually I will probably make a video about that, but probably not anytime soon. Let's see the next comment. I wonder if I can put my face in here to make this a little bit more interesting. Oh, cool. I can just move this around pretty easily. 1 second. Display capture. There you go. So you guys can see my face while I go through some of these questions. Okay, next one is pretty long. How do you see? Actually, 1 second. Let me make sure there's no questions coming in. And if anyone is on the live chat right now, feel free to ask any questions that you might have. Okay, cool. So the next question is a very long question. I'm just going to go ahead and read it. Actually, I'll just skim it. Let's see. So it looks like this guy, Asma, is a freshman in a 6-year pharmacy program. Originally chose pharmacy in freshman year of high school because it has good pay. It was a healthcare career, and because pharmacist has less interactions with patients. No one in my family was aware of the job saturation. I only found out about it this year. Family members praised pharmacy, amazing pay, physical demand. If you knew about it in high school, would have went to different routes to pursue another medical field. Some say if I'm really interested in the career that I should continue, and if not, then I should switch. 100% agree. I mean, I think that's one of the main things I'll say about pharmacy right now. There is obviously job saturation. That's not a surprise to anyone, I don't think, or at least to most people. And if your heart is in pharmacy, absolutely pursue it. If you're in it for the money or any other reasons, you should definitely consider a different field. The thing about me is that I don't mind doing a pharmacist job. Some say it's boring or repetitive, but I don't mind it, which is also why I chose it. Sounds like you maybe like pharmacy. So that's a good thing. However, it's not my biggest dream or passion. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. If this was a regular 4-year undergrad degree, I would 100% switch career paths and take more classes with it. But since I'm in a 6-year program, I have a strict schedule to follow, and I feel stuck in the program. There aren't any PCATs, and it's 6 years. I would hate to drop out and regret it later because I had a promise seat in a pharmacy program. At the time, I do not have a promise seat after I graduate. Plan B is to switch career paths. Maybe I should comment on that. At the same time, I do not have a promised stable job after I graduate. I think that's probably true for any job. You probably don't have, no one has a guaranteed job. It's up to you and how you perform in any program in general. So just keep that in mind too. Just because you pick a profession and you graduate in it doesn't mean you're automatically get a job, pharmacy or not. My plan B is to switch career paths to PA, but that would mean a whole new graduate application, and I cannot promise that I will get a seat in PA school. It's a risk either way. Spoken to doctors and pharmacists, and all of them say PA or NP as a first career path, but at the same time, they don't discourage pharmacy. I'm probably in the same boat. I wouldn't discourage pharmacy. It's hard because, you're obviously young and you want to find something that's financially stable and something that you would be happy doing for the rest of your life. That's a hard question to answer. The best suggestion I give to anyone who's super young and looking into something is to just shadow and ask lots of questions to individuals in that area of expertise. I like to also add that I don't mind PA either, since I can go into any specialty, and there are many specialties that don't require a lot of interaction with blood. So part of why I chose pharmacy, I had 2 cousins that were in pharmacists, and I cannot see blood either. I pass out when I see blood. So, yeah, that's why I didn't choose some of the other ones. I did try to desensitize myself, and it was a terrible experience. I literally passed out. And you could technically desensitize, but it just, I don't know, it wasn't for me. Anyways, I just like healthcare in general, so I want a career as a healthcare professional. Healthcare is my dream field. I just don't have a specific job I must pursue. Do you have any advice? And how do you think that? All right, so 2 questions there. Do I have any advice? Kind of what I said earlier, probably along the same lines as others have suggested. If you feel as though pharmacy is your calling, doesn't completely sound like it is, then I might look somewhere else. But to really hone in on whether or not it's for you, try your best to, find local pharmacists in different areas. And you probably don't know all the different areas since you're new to pharmacy. But shadow around, ask questions, and see how they like their field or might not like their field, some of the pros and cons and things like that, to see if it's something you really like. But shadowing, I think, is truly key because you can see what it's like. But community pharmacists like in CVS, Walgreens would be a good place to do shadowing of community pharmacists, shadow in the hospital for sure, shadow in clinics, shadow in mail order pharmacy, different areas. But ask around and shadow. And it might be biased here, but I'm an Informatics pharmacist. Definitely try and shadow an Informatics pharmacist as well, because they give you some different perspectives on what life can be like. So do that. And then how do you think the pharmacy job market will be in the next 6 years? That's a great question. And I think a lot of pharmacists in our field are also trying to answer that exact question. I think the main thing I'll say about that is to look up the pharmacy forecast. Let's see here. Let's see if I pull it up. It's a free document. Pharmacy. Actually, maybe I'll start off with here. So there is a government survey/study, whatever, that's done. It's from the Bureau of Labor Statistics that predicts, job market. And the one that came out recently, it says employment of pharmacists is projected to show little or no change from 2018 to 2028. So that's 10 years. Demand is projected to increase for pharmacists in a variety of healthcare settings, including hospitals and clinics. Yeah, this might be a good place to at least check out. I know there's criticism about this all over the place, but look at different resources, talk to different people to get different ideas, and make your own assessment of what the job market would be like. In this case, I think the thing that stood out to me is that there's going to be 0% job outlook, and there's going to be a decrease in the change. However, I think that there's so much disruption in healthcare right now. There could be a huge surge in different areas of pharmacy. So very hard to predict. Just stay tuned to the news and yeah, keep talking to people, see where the job market will go. But I honestly don't have any idea. I just think that the traditional areas of pharmacy right now will probably decrease, but there may be many, many opportunities that open in other areas of pharmacy. So I know, not a great response, but okay, moving on. That was a long question. Let's see. So these are all my own comments. Here's another one. Let's see here. So this question is from El Dorado. Happy Virus. Cool name, by the way. I still don't know what should I really do. I am now a third-year student of pharmacy and am not graduated yet. I love to study pharmacy subjects like pharmacology, pharmaceutical chemistry, but sometimes I really want to be a doctor because pharmacists rarely contact with patients closely. They only counsel about medicine and do's and don'ts. For me, I want to stay close to patients' healthcare to diagnose about disease. I don't want to spend any time and finance to study med school, but if someone asked me that stay whole day only in the pharmacy and spend the rest of my life like this, I would say, no, I can't. So can you advise me on what I should do? I mean, I feel like you almost answer your own question there in the sense that if you can't see yourself in the pharmacy department the entire day, then that's not for you. I mean, obviously there's a lot more you can unpack there, where if you become a pharmacist doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be stuck in a pharmacy department. I'm a pharmacist and I don't work in a pharmacy department. I work from home. And I have, I guess I would say, many areas in which I can go to that is not even resembling a pharmacy. There's many opportunities out there, so you can look in other areas, but just looking at your question specifically, it doesn't sound like pharmacy is your area. However, given that you're a third-year pharmacy student, you probably have a lot of loans and things to consider. I think the most practical solution in that case is finish out your degree, find a job, and work towards something that makes you happy and something that you think would make more sense. It doesn't sound like med school is for you either, because you said you don't want to study med school. So yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people end up doing that, finding a job that's financially stable and then looking for whatever makes them happy later on. Okay, so moving on to the next question. I'll give you a little heart there. Actually, I'll give the people a heart here. So I missed the comment here. From Hui Tran. Brian, thank you for this video. It's very informative. These advices reassured of what exactly I was expecting. Currently at P3 right now and cannot wait for P4 with these amazing APPEs. I cannot remember what we talked about in that video, but glad it was helpful, and good luck as you go on to your APPEs. It's very fun time. Show up early, leave late. Make a good impression, and that's all I can say. It's a great time to network, and it's like a job interview when you go on rotations. Okay, looks like Paul has a lot of questions on different videos. So let's see what Paul says. PharmD student after completing MD, can we diagnose a patient? You definitely can if you complete a medical doctor degree. You are trained to diagnose a patient. So the short answer is yes. Looks like this was the same question. Okay. Next question is from Fun. Love these names. I am about to go to school for my nursing informatics. Glad the nursing profession stole that piece of the pie. The name definitely matches the comment. Let's see what the other comment is. Med school is so overrated. Nursing path is so much short. Surgical NP, CRNA, anesthesiologist. we have it all. I mean, great. I mean, yeah, nursing is so diverse. All the nurses I've ever met in my career has gone on to do so many different things, and I've seen nurses in every single capacity ever. So it's definitely a very flexible area. Med school being overrated? I don't know. I never went to med school myself, so I can't really say that. But to each their own. About to go to school for nursing informatics. To your first comment, good for you. I had the privilege and opportunity to collaborate with informatics nurses in many different organizations. They are so key to the success of any organization. It's so awesome to work side by side with many nurses. They're super fantastic. So props to you, and hopefully we can collaborate in the future. Next question, how to obtain an Epic manual to become more proficient in Epic. So the Epic manuals, the formal name for them are the training companions. They are proprietary documents. If you do not work for an Epic organization, or do not work for Epic directly, you are not allowed to access them, and people who do are not allowed to share them. The only way to get access to one of them is by either working for Epic directly or getting hired by an organization that has Epic, in which case you would go to the user web and then go to training and download those training companions. That is the only way. You cannot share that information. All proprietary. Another question on the Epic certification video, you could become certified through a consulting firm. That is very true. So technically, my video in there, I talk about the two ways, and I just mentioned it too. The two ways to get Epic certified is by either working for Epic directly or working for an organization that has Epic. This comment by Underachiever, thanks for pointing that out. You can definitely get certified through a consulting firm. So many people create their own organizations, which you can as well. Create your own organization to consult on Epic, and you can definitely get certified that way. I used to work at Epic, and one of my customers had Accenture consultants who got sent to training on behalf of the health system. Much more rare path than working for Epic or one of their customers, but it does exist. Absolutely. Thanks for pointing that comment. There's that's definitely another way, and actually there's probably a lot of people that get certified that way. I just tried to be super brief and succinct, and so I didn't cover all different nitty-gritty details in that video. But thanks for pointing that out. That is definitely another way that you can get certified. Next question, Brittany Clapp. Hi, Brian. I was wondering if you can make a video or contact me about the industry side of pharmacy. I'm at the point in college where I'm like, I need to pick something and have questions. So I don't have much experience on the industry side of pharmacy, so I probably wouldn't be of much assistance. But I do know that the folks who work at industry or those programs have many informational things out there that you can look up to learn more about it. And sounds like you're in college, so you probably are not aware of that. But the one that I think many people and myself think of is Rutgers. A lot of the pharmaceutical companies in the Northeast and a lot of the schools and programs out there is the place to be if you are interested in pharmacy industry. And Rutgers is one of the main ones. So Rutgers has a program. If you really are interested in the pharmaceutical industry, I'd highly recommend going to check their program out as a start. There's definitely many different programs in pharmaceutical industry, but this could be a good starting place to answer maybe some of your basic questions, since it looks like you're looking for more beginner type information. So definitely check that out. Let's see. Swetha. Among MPH, MHA, and MBA, which is best in terms of payment? So I'm not sure if payment, I'm assuming that's in terms of ROI. So value back to yourself, I'm assuming. Um, I think without doubt, I would say definitely MBA is both the most costly in terms of how much it would take to fund. I think the last time I looked up MBAs, it was probably in the close to six-figure range for your higher up, like top ranked MBA programs. There's definitely some that are less. I know UF has a very cheap one that is probably under 50,000. It's an online program. But if you're looking at some of the more top ranked programs or even the M7 programs, which is the top 7 ranked MBA programs, they will definitely cost you upwards of $150,000 to $200,000. Very, very expensive. However, they usually would argue that the return on investment is pretty high, where you get paid a good amount of salary once you graduate, but you just have a lot of loans that you'd have to take out. So hopefully that answers that piece. And I think the MPH programs are probably the cheapest. That's just my assumption. I don't know what the ROI of a MHA program is. They probably are equivalent, if not a little bit more expensive than MPH programs. But the ROI in terms of how much you might make afterwards may be higher than MPH. MPH programs in general are usually, they're not, in my opinion, as financially rewarding. You don't usually go into an MPH expecting to make a lot of money. So if you're looking to make money, MPH is probably not the correct degree for you. MBA and MHA is probably more likely. You see a lot of MHAs that go into hospital administration, which is kind of what the degree stands for. So hospital administrators can make pretty good money. And MBAs usually end up being executives in either and anywhere. So they can make definitely a lot of money as well. Okay, I spent a lot of time on that question. Next one. Bro, this is from Ronald. He says, bro, we need more of these videos. Thank you so much. Glad you found it helpful. Cool. Next question. Oh my goodness. This is why it takes a long time to get through some of the questions, is I get so much. Oh, this is great. This is actually someone responding to someone else. So Yang asks, currently pursuing a master's in health informatics with an undergraduate in HIM, which is health information management. Is this a good combination to move into healthcare IT? All criticism is welcome. So it's a pretty vague question. So yes, in general, I mean, any type of formal didactic training, I would say is a great path to move. The thing that makes it so difficult to answer is healthcare IT is so broad. So it really depends a lot on many different factors. So one example is that I would say is how you perform in that program. So many master's program is either a thesis or some capstone. And the capstone usually requires you to do an internship somewhere. So if you do an internship that is in a great place, that could certainly open an opportunity to move into a healthcare IT organization that is good. If you end up doing a capstone at a place that is whatever, then maybe it doesn't help you in getting into that area of healthcare IT you're interested in. So it's very difficult to judge that. One, it depends on where in healthcare IT you're looking to get into, which is so huge and broad already. Are you looking to get into tech? Are you looking to get into healthcare, traditional healthcare settings like a hospital or a clinic? Are you looking to get into industry? Like, where are you looking to get into? So it really depends. And then the didactics you take in your health informatics masters also depends. So that's a very hard thing to answer. However, with that being said, in general, like what I said at first, a formal degree in health informatics or health information management is probably beneficial. So in short, I would say yes. Looks like that's what Henry says. Yes, this is a great field with what you've studied, and the field is extremely lucrative if done correctly. Completely agree. However, it will be difficult at this time for you to get an Epic analyst, consultant, informatics position without any experience. I also agree with that. So I'll make two comments about that, especially with the Epic analyst piece. So many of the hospitals in the US went through the implementations already. So it's not as hot as before or demanding as before. So the demand for Epic analysts were huge when meaningful use first started back in 2009 through Obamacare and the HITECH Act. So that's why there was a huge surge in demand for everyone to get on EHRs. So now it's 2020. It's about, 11 years since. A lot of that demand has died down because many organizations have already implemented Epic. So that's one piece. So that's why it's more difficult. The second thing I'll say is, if you've been keeping up with health IT news, you know that the VA and DoD signed a contract with Cerner, and they are on the 10-year contract that will be converting all of their systems to Cerner. So the demand for Cerner analysts is likely to increase. So that is an opportunity there. So those are the two comments I'll make. No one's hires entry level into these positions. If they do, they require an Epic certification or Epic modules. That's probably true as well. We oftentimes look for people who already have experience. It can be very difficult if you don't. I mean, there's just so many other. There's just when you compare applicants, and you look at people. If you look at the pool of applicants, the people with experience, there's a lot of them. So compared to people who don't have experience, you probably more than likely choose the people who have experience. So work experience is very, very good, especially in informatics. All right, this is very long, so I'm not going to read the rest of that. But Henry, appreciate you taking the time to respond with a very thorough response. You are awesome. Give you a heart and a like. Next. What do we have next? Another Epic certification question. I am certified in Epic PB and HB Resolute, trying to find a position. Has it been difficult for you? I don't know if this was a comment or a question. Yeah. If you're looking to find a position, I don't know of any, but I do see a lot of postings in general for both PB and HB. And for those of you who are watching, if you don't know what that is, it's Epic Professional Billing and Hospital Billing. Those are the Epic modules for that. Has it been difficult for you? Yep, I don't have a response for that. Okay. Next question here is from Don. Don says, "Goddamn, what a shitty reason not to pursue med school. Fear of blood? Really? You could have literally become a family doctor or pediatrician. Every damn doctor is working in the ER room, operating on someone's brains or guts. And why did you not get a waiver for the MCAT? Waivers for a health professional exist for the MCAT. I mean, to each their own. You know, there's many other reasons to not pursue med school. I mean, I think the thing that came to my mind back then was talking to a trauma surgeon in Florida when I came across the idea of I wanted to sensitize myself so I can be a doctor. And so this is the mindset I had, and I was a student at the time, you know. So I was talking to this Florida surgeon, and he was like, his mind to be a good doctor of any kind, trauma, surgery, primary care, family physician, whoever, the ability to be able to quickly trach a patient who cannot breathe, to secure an airway, requires you to be able to see blood. And that, he thought, was one of the things that you should be able to do as a physician. I cannot do that. I saw many traumatic and non-traumatic trachs, and I just can't do it. And I think that it will be a disservice and against the first do no harm oath of all healthcare professionals if I were to pursue being a physician, because I don't think I can perform as well as them. That is the reason why. I don't think I would do it justice. You enter this field to take care of patients, not harm them. So that's my answer to that. Why didn't I get a waiver for the MCAT? Because going to the first part, I just don't think I'd be a good doctor and so I'm not going to pursue that. But awesome question, good comment, good opinion. Appreciate you dropping by, Don Hughes. Next question. I'm a college student, and this is interesting to listen, and the questions that were pointed out were really helpful. Cool. Not a question, just a comment. Glad you found it helpful, Forte. Okay. Moving on. Next question. Should I pursue a residency video from Chio? Do you need a loan to do pharmacy residency, or is it already paid for? No. So this might be this is from 2 months ago. You probably already got your question answered. You don't need a loan to do a pharmacy residency. Oh, actually, no, I probably shouldn't say that. So a pharmacy residency is a job, and you get paid a salary during your residency. So that's one. Depending on your finances, which if you have a lot of expenses, I don't know, maybe you do need to take out a loan. But for the most part, it's like getting a job. So it is, to your second point, is it already paid for? You don't actually have to pay for a pharmacy residency. You get paid to do a pharmacy residency. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay. No one has questions on the live chat. If you are on the live chat, learning from my friend Kevin, make sure you do give a like to the video. I'm assuming that helps. So definitely give the video a like if you haven't already. And if you have questions, definitely ask in the box below. I'm probably going to do a few more minutes of these questions because I find this kind of entertaining. But if you have questions, definitely ask some yourself. All right, we're moving on to the next question here. Who's next one? From Brian, JP79. He says, on my Hopkins video, hey, for online classes in Hopkins, does the learning platform, maybe recorded lectures, allow the lecturers to handwrite on screen while teaching, or is it just plain slideshow with voice recording? So you can definitely write on the screen. It kind of depends on the class. So the majority of the classes we have, it depends on the class. But since you're just talking about lectures, the majority of the lectures are recorded, pre-recorded. And, even though they're pre-recorded, they can definitely write on the PowerPoint slide or on the screen while teaching. So that's definitely possible. With that said, for the classes online, there is also usually a component of live, they call them live talks. So many of the classes do have that. Usually it is 3 to 4 live talks per semester. And so those cases, we actually all jump onto Zoom and we have a mic and a video camera and we interact live with the teachers and our classmates. And it's fantastic because we have live discussion with all the students and classmates in the class. So that's usually a very common thing in all the Hopkins courses. And then also, if you're a part-time online student, you have the ability, if you want, to take in-person classes. So you get to see everyone in person. This past year, I think in the last few months, they removed the requirement. Previously, you had to perform 25% of the classes in person. Now it can actually be done completely online for all the newly matriculating students. Oh, looks like someone has a question. From GSong789, I have a question. 1 second, let me type it out. All right, take your time, GSong. I will be hanging out for another few minutes. And I'm just going to move on to the next question in the meantime. Next one is on the Epic certification video from Iglet. That's a pretty cool name. It's like the Pokemon, right? Diglett? I think that's the name, Diglett. Right, let me double check. Is it Diglett? Yeah, Diglett's the Pokemon. Okay, cool. So Iglet asks, do you need to have an informatics degree in order to be able to do the Epic certification? No, you do not. Surprisingly, a lot of people I've met who entered the Epic consulting or Epic analyst type roles have a very diverse background. Some of the people I've met had majors in English and literature. One of them had a degree in criminology. It's a very, very diverse background. So to answer that question, no, you don't need an informatics degree. What about someone who has a degree in marketing management and another one in business management? Nope. You can basically have any degree, to my knowledge, and still jump into the epic analyst role. They usually, if you're kind of like new jumping into it, I feel as though you're usually required to take an exam that they administer to all those people who are new, called the Sphinx exam. It's a exam of logic. Helps if you've done some computer programming in the past, not because you need to know coding, but because you should understand basic logic. And it's hard to describe if you've never done that type of work. It's basically, how do computers think? Computers are black and white. They're not human. They don't show emotion necessarily. So if you understand how to program a computer and you understand logic and how things work, a good example might be just understanding Boolean logic, if this, then that. That is what a lot of the Sphinx exam tests your ability on. If you don't have that kind of thinking or that skill set, then you're probably going to fail the exam and you won't be able to do it. So that's one of the main things to think about. You should probably brush up on that if you are not familiar. Okay. Next question. Do you have a platform discussions? Great you ask. I mean, coincidental that you ask. I think this is the first time I've ever done like a public Q&A type deal. So I think that I'm going to do this weekly just because I feel pretty bad. Many times in the past, I've made statements where I'm going to try to address the questions and comments I get, and I just can't get to them. And my apologies for that. It's just an unrealistic thing because I just have so many things going on right now. So do I have a platform discussions? I hope to do this weekly, maybe every Sunday for 30 minutes or so, just going through some of the questions to give you guys some quick insight. So answer is yes. Give you a like. Aruna says, hi sir, can you please tell me how to apply for clinical pharmacy residency programs for international students and what are the prereqs needed? How to apply for international students. So my disclaimer is that I've never applied as an international student. However, let me see if I can find her channel. I do know Rosu has talked about her experience as an international candidate before, and I would probably reach out to Rosu. She's one of the first individuals I think about. She has a video about getting a license as a foreign graduate. I would check her channel out and maybe send her a message. I believe I recall she was interested in pursuing residency and she was in the process of doing so. But in general, what I know about it is that every single program is different for international students. Some programs accept them, some don't. So how to apply? I would start off with ASHP residency listing. Going to this website, which is a listing of all the different ASHP residencies that are in existence. Look for the ones that you're interested in. Maybe go to their website and see if they say anything about international residents. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If they don't and you're interested, reach out to the residency director and ask them what the process is because it is different for everyone. So I don't know the answer for all the different programs. What are the prerequisites needed? I would also do the exact same thing. I don't know the prerequisites needed. I would go to that directory. Again, it's the Pharmacy Residency Directory by ASHP and look that up. Okay. Next question is on my PharmD to MD video. Is there any colleges offering MD after PharmD in Canada? I have no idea. I'm based in the US. I don't know any in Canada. However, I do know that there is one or maybe even two now. but definitely one in the US that is a joint PharmD MD program. I think it was Rutgers. Rutgers PharmD MD program. Yeah, Rutgers. Rutgers has a dual degree program, dual PharmD MD program. If you're interested, you can check that out. I don't know of any in Canada. I've just never looked it up. But if there are, definitely do a search for it to see if you find any. If you do, respond back and let me know. Next question. Another one on Epic certifications from Jenin. If you guys watch Naruto, it's like the Jenin of Naruto. Anyways, sidetracked. Hi, Brian. Do you know if Tapestry is eligible for proficiency or only certification? That is a great question. I don't know. I'm not going to go to the website either because it's all proprietary, so I'm not going to share that. However, what I can tell you, though, is if you are interested in knowing, this is how I found out, is go to, if you have access, I'm assuming you do, to the user web, go to user web, go to the training companion area, the course catalogs, and if you look up Tapestry, it would actually tell you if there's a proficiency option. It'll be listed on there. If there's a proficiency option, it will be certification/proficiency. So to give you a concrete example here, I was interested in doing Chronicles install utilities, and that is not offered as a proficiency, only certification. So if you look at that one versus another one, you'll notice that it only says certification, not certification/proficiency. So that's the way you can check. But I'm not going to share the Epic website on here because it's proprietary information. Give you a heart and a like. Next question. This is so fun. I hope you guys are enjoying this. And hopefully it's helpful. I have no idea if the people who are watching are actually interested in pharmacy stuff, or maybe they're public health people, or they are, I don't know. I don't know who's watching. Yeah, that'd be interesting. If you guys are watching, let me know what kind of topics you guys are interested in learning more about, or if you have questions, definitely ask some questions. And I hope G-Song is typing out a question. Hopefully it's not like an essay. Anyways, keep going. Next question here is on the B-Bron video I did. Can you provide the TOM setting? Anyone who knows? I don't know what TOM stands for. Yeah, I would probably recommend looking at the manual of the B-Bron perfuser training pumps. That is where I got all the information to create that video. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. All right, give you a like as well. Give you a heart in this next one. Next question is from Zeze on the Epic certifications video. So the question is, thanks for the updated video. I'm proficient and seeking certification, and it's taking every ounce of my being to pass that test. I'm freaking almost depressed over it. Anyways, with Epic certs, there's no such thing as being over prepared. None. Yeah, I mean, definitely agree. It can be a stressful test, especially if you're doing it for the first time. I don't remember if I talked about it in that video, but the pass rates for the pharmacy module, which is Willow, is pretty low. It was like 50 or 60%, and it's a daunting test. And you know, I've known people that have taken it over 5 times and could not pass it. Same with other applications, so it's very stressful. Definitely study as much as you can. I studied, I think about a week or so for it the first time I took the pharmacy proficiency test. Control fine also helps. Oh, looks like G-Song has posted the question. G-Song says, "Hi Brian, sorry I had some technical difficulties. I come from a pre-pharmacy background with a CS minor." Oh, very cool. "I've been accepted to the PharmD program this year, but I am having doubts about attending. To go into the field of pharmacy informatics, is a PharmD required? That's an easy answer, easy question. Nope, it's not required to go into pharmacy informatics. And the reason why is because there's actually quite a few pharmacy technicians that are in pharmacy informatics, and there's also non-pharmacy technicians / non-pharmacists that's in pharmacy informatics. So absolutely possible. You don't need a PharmD to be in pharmacy informatics. Kind of depends on what role you're trying to do too. If you're trying to build medications in pharmacy informatics, they would probably require a PharmD for that, just because PharmD is the minimum required thing to have to practice as a pharmacist and to build medications. Many organizations usually want a pharmacist doing that. So that is a situation where you might need a PharmD. So it kind of depends on what area of pharmacy informatics you're interested in. But there's many different types of people in pharmacy informatics that are not pharmacists. What is the job outlook of pharmacy informatics? It's a great question. I'm not sharing the screen. I guess you guys can probably see that. So I'm answering questions from Ji-Song, who's typing in the chat. Job outlook of pharmacy informatics, that's a great question because I'm not entirely sure either. So I briefly commented on it earlier, but the demand for pharmacy informatics is not as high as before, relatively speaking. And it was super high before because in the US, and I'm strictly talking about the US, not outside of the US, within the US, the adoption of electronic health records was not high at all. It didn't really pick up until Obamacare, or if you want to be formal, the Affordable Care Act, specifically the High Tech Act, required adoption of it. So between 2009 and 2015, the meaningful use legislation really pushed the adoption everywhere, because they said, if you do this, you get a lot of money. If you don't, then we're going to penalize you. So that created a huge demand for EHRs to be adopted everywhere, and the job outlook was fantastic. The problem is the two top vendors right now is Epic and Cerner, and Epic has pretty much been implemented in most places already. There's definitely places who are converting or still in the process of implementing, but it's not as high as before. Not to say that it's a bad job outlook, it's just not as high as before. But as I said earlier, with the DoD/VA, they are now converting all their EHRs over to Cerner from their current legacy Vista/CPRS, which is their homegrown system. And that means great job outlook. So that's one piece. That's like the very traditional pharmacy informatics pathway. And it's there. If you're looking for jobs, the jobs definitely exist. I can tell you that there's a lot of non-US places that are having high demand for this field. Pharmacy informatics and informatics in general is, if anything, in its infancy in a lot of places outside of the US. And Epic and Cerner are being implemented in many places, newly in a lot of places. And so if you're interested in jumping outside of the US for jobs, that's also a great place to look for jobs. The interesting thing about job outlook for pharmacy informatics is the non-traditional spaces. So outside of hospital and outside of community is what are the jobs out there for those? That place is interesting to explore because we have so many disruptions in healthcare right now that there's opportunities for informatics pharmacists to get into. The classic example that I always use is like in big tech. So you see some postings sometimes from like the big tech, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. What's the other one? Amazon, Google, Microsoft. I don't remember. So those places, those companies are posting positions for healthcare professionals, and that's a very interesting place to explore because they're trying to capitalize on all these disruptions that's going on. I'm not as confident on speaking on what the job outlook looks like for that, but I can tell you that I would say it's positive. There's a lot of interest in those areas. Let's see. My other job option would be to stay in tech. Oh yeah, you're in tech already. Software tester. I am jealous. So anyone that is already in tech, if you pair that with healthcare, I would say you have a super awesome outlook for jobs in general. My criticism with people who are pure tech is that you don't understand healthcare, and my criticism with people who are just in healthcare is that they don't understand tech. So my main advice to you is to get any type of clinical experience. It doesn't have to be pharmacy. It could be nursing, could be PA, could be medical school, it could be anything. But get some type of healthcare experience, and you'll develop a lot more clout and rapport in working in the healthcare informatics space. Not that you couldn't without it, it's just that you get more rapport and clout if you have some of that experience. So that's the main thing. Find any type of clinical experience you can jump into and do that. Come from pre-F has been accepted to pharmacy program this year, and you just got accepted to a pharmacy program. Yeah. It's hard because I can't tell if your heart is in pharmacy. The job saturation is a difficult thing, and if your heart is not in pharmacy, I'm not gonna say to quit or not quit. It's gonna be hard. Is all. So I would encourage you to talk to as many people as possible about your current situation. But because you have a tech background, I'd say you're in a pretty good shape to jump into opportunities if you did graduate with a pharmacy degree. But I won't say whether or not you should quit. I think you should talk to as many people as possible to gauge that. And if you just started, you don't know too much about pharmacy yet. But okay, so hopefully that was helpful. I think I think I've been streaming for a while. How long have I been streaming? Let me see here. Oh, I've been streaming for an hour. Okay, I will answer maybe one more question and then we will wrap up. Another question from Zize. Why the background music? I had very poor choices in background music back then. If you watch a lot of my videos, it was just a little too loud, and terrible choice. I don't have a better response than that. Okay, this is a long question, so I'm gonna I'll save that for next time. All right, guys, hopefully this was helpful and you enjoyed. Sorry for taking so long to answer these questions. I haven't even gotten to the emails. Literally, some of the emails that I get is just a whole not paragraph, it's an entire essay, and I just don't have the time to go through them. So my apologies for that. Yeah, I will eventually get to them. So thanks for your patience. G-Song, hopefully that was helpful, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next week. I'll find a time to schedule these, I don't know, at some point. Morning, night, afternoon, I don't know. We'll find out. All right, guys, I will see you all next week. If you want to join again, take care.